Welcome back to War Thunder and welcome aboard the M1 Abrams here in Realistic Battles to some first impressions. Now before I talk anything about the tank, let me just put everything into perspective. This is one of the new main battle tanks within War Thunder with a top tier battle rating of 9.3, and I expect this to change soon because the tank is that good. And I also have to play all the other tanks firsthand to then be able to make a proper tank review. So I wanted to make a tank review right now with this video, but it didn't happen because I just don't have enough experience. So many new things, so many new toys to play with. In fact, this and some of the other high tier tanks got gifted to me by Gaijin, fully upgraded. So thank you Gaijin for this, so that I can give you guys some of the tanks firsthand in a video to talk about it and to make the decision easier which tank to go for. And today we have the M1 Abrams. And what is the M1 Abrams? Probably one of the best tanks in the game, if not the best. Simple as that. It has awesome mobility, rivaling the Leopard 2K. Then also we have Frontal Protection, which is not that easy to come over, and many tanks have to actually upgrade to ammunition where they actually can deal with you. And you have awesome firepower with the M68A1 gun, and this is an L7 gun variant, highly modified, but it works, and it has 5-second reload for around 20-25 rounds, something like this, in the ammo rack in the back of the turret, which allows it to survive ammo rack explosions, at least the one in the back of the turret. But so far this hasn't happened to me. Now what about the mobility? Well, this is rivaling the Leopard 2K with nearly 30 horsepower per ton ratio, and then 72 kilometers an hour top speed and nearly as fast backwards. Great maneuverability, great mobility, good acceleration, and then there is the frontal protection. And the frontal protection is pretty damn nice. And so a lot of the things that I really recognized is that a lot of the Russian tankers are aiming for the tracks. They're aiming for the tracks, you exchange the shots, but you beat their reload because you have a 5-second reload on this ace crew. Not on this ace crew because this is just an expert crew, but you know what I'm talking about. This is fast. This is like the Vickers MBT, which is already pretty insane with the reload. And so you're having the same reload like the Leopard 2K, but the Leopard 2K just has it for 11 rounds in the ready rack. Your ready rack is much bigger, like 22 rounds, something like this. And yeah, so you can sustain that high rate of fire longer. So mobility, armor, firepower, the holy trilogy of tank warfare, it's there on the M1 Abrams, and it's there from the stock. I have no idea where the shell went, but again, we can beat his reload, and the T-64A suffered here really with his reverse gear, and again we repair the tracks. So people want to shoot into the tracks to go through your side armor of the hull, because this is the only real weak spot. The side of the turret is also protected by some composite armor, albeit not that strong. So what is there to be desired with this tank? Well, in all honesty, I really miss just one thing: a roof-mounted 20mm cannon. I'm joking, this is just extreme cherry picking. Don't take this serious. The tank is a very strong all-arounder. Mobility, firepower, protection, it's there. You can literally bully Russian tanks. In fact, you feel straight like a Russian tank, especially something like a T-54-47, when back in the days it was the highest tank in the Russian tech tree, or one of the highest, against Tiger 2s or something like this. It's the same story with the M1 Abrams. So what it reminds me of with this M68A1 cannon is back in the days with the Black Prince, with the 17-pounder. I was always convinced that the 17-pounder is actually a really decent gun, but I never could make it work. I never survived the return shot. I couldn't one-shot enemies reliable, so I had to just wait for the second round. And so I always wanted to know what is the 17-pounder like if it is mounted on a gun that actually supports the kind of gun handling or gun characteristics. And yeah, this answers also the same if the L7 could be good or not. So I was really criticized by many of you for taking such a harsh criticism on the Magach 3, but it just didn't work. And so this tank has a stabilizer, of course, it has a 5-second reload, and it has AP FSDS. Let's just quickly talk about the ammunition while we're at it. Stock, you already have an AP FSDS round with 360mm of penetration, so that is like the upgraded shell on the Type 74. And furthermore, as a stock shell, a further stock shell, you get the 400mm penetrating Heat FS round, and as a tier 1 upgrade, the Hesh, as a tier 2 upgrade, the smoke shell, and also the smoke grenades at tier 2, and as a tier 4 upgrade, the M774 AP FSDS with 415mm of penetration, which can basically penetrate everything at some point. So maybe the turret front of the Challenger 1 is an issue, but we'll have to find that out when I have a quick look at this tank as well. So that is the M1 Abrams, a fantastic all-around tank. But why am I not playing that much with this tank? Well, again, first of all, I have to play all the tanks to get a feeling for them, to then make a tank review on each single one of them, and there needs to be test shooting be done and so forth. But also the queue times were just simply very long. 5, 6, 7 minutes were not a rarity, they were common. And you know, this is like with top tier jets, and the matches that we got were just 8 versus 8, so you cannot really say anything how the tank will perform in like 2 weeks time, when there are more opponents on different maps with different battle ratings on the battlefield, because I expect also a battle rating increase on this tank, like with so many other tanks. Same with the Challenger 1, same with also the T-64B. And there we actually finished the match with the Survivor Award, which is always really nice. So let's have a quick look at the post-battle results. If the screen would load faster, come on, yeah, there we go. So for our 7 kills and 2 capture zones, I got 54,000 civilians and 4,000 modification research points. Nothing for the vehicle research because I'm currently not researching anything. First in team with 2,000 score points. So M1 Abrams, fantastic tank. I recommend it while it lasts. We'll see how long it takes up until the point that Gaijin just rebalances it. And I'm not talking here about the armor or firepower, but just simply the battle rating. So the M1 Abrams, final verdict, it's a frontline bully. It's a tank made for aggression, made for just pushing the enemy back, bringing the fight to the enemy and actually staying there. Especially when you're driving in a platoon and cover each other, you just can decimate an enemy team really fast. And enemy tanks have to upgrade. Very often their ammunition to go through your armor reliable. And even if they hit the ammo rack in the back of the turret, even if they penetrate the lower plate, it's not a one shot in a lot of cases. And to aim for this rather, you know, minimal weak spots like the center of the mid plate and also the turret ring area when you're driving with 70 kilometers an hour over the battlefield, it's pretty awesome to drive this tank and not that nice to fight it. So that's it for me today. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Please give this video a like if it did, subscribe if you want to see more, let me know in the comment section what you think about the tank and the top tier meta, and we'll see each other on the battlefields of War Thunder.